First off, I want to say thank you. Thank you for having me, but also thank you for keeping me alive. I've been a dialysis patient since 2009. So not you guys in particularly, but you guys signing up to be in nephrology, to sign up for hemodialysis patients. You keep me alive. So thank you for getting in this field. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. I would have been out of here, like I said, in 2009. My wife is right there. I've been married for 27 years. She thanks you for keeping her husband alive. We just celebrated a 27th year last month. We went to WinStar. We only won $28. So, my daughter, she is 21. She turned 22 at the end of the month. She thanks you for keeping her dad alive. She actually graduates from UNT this year to be an English teacher in high school. And that's my son. Sorry, he looks crazy. I guess this is who he is. He's 20. He's actually in Washington State with his girlfriend. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But he's a good kid. He's a good kid. And he thanks you for keeping his dad alive. So thank you from the half of the Butler family. Thank you for keeping me alive and doing good work, and because you guys have changed my life and helped me. So appreciate it. All right, so I want to talk about healing words. Now, you guys have got a lot of training already. You guys have a lot of skill already in the medical field. You guys have been trained to be techs, to be nurses. It looks like you guys have a lot of experience doing this. So you guys already have the skill and the wisdom. What I want to teach you today is how your words can heal. I want to teach you how your words can really make a difference. I've done all kinds of trainings. I used to be a sales manager for Holiday Inn Club Vacation. I used to be a corporate recruiter. I used to train all kinds of people, do all kinds of trainings. And one thing that I always have to train other people is how to care for people. If you care for people, you get what you need. But I don't have to do that here because you guys already care for people. So I just want to teach you about how your skill and your words can heal. In the middle of this presentation, I'm going to share 3 words that changed everything about me. I wouldn't be advocating the way I am now. I wouldn't be up doing presentations at dialysis clinics. I wouldn't be pushing the way I push if it wasn't for this guy, this doctor, telling me 3 words. So you guys ready? Because you guys are the first clinic to get this training. It's like real talk. You guys are the first one to get this training. So that means you're going to be the best because you're the first one that got it. All right? So that was me again in 2009. And that was the year my kidneys failed. The year my kidneys failed, so that night I was trying to go to sleep, just watched a movie with my wife, and I was trying to go to sleep, and I couldn't catch my breath. I felt like, I was hyperventilating. I couldn't lay down. I rolled over to my side, and just nothing was working. And she was like, man, you can't breathe. You need to go to the hospital. So my friend picks me up, takes me to the hospital. To make a long story short, the ER doctor comes in after they ran all the tests and stuff like that and said, man, your kidney function is gone. It's gone. I don't know why you're not on dialysis, so it's not a matter of if, it's when you're going to dialysis. So we're going to admit you. So they admitted me. 3 or 4 days later, they wheeled the machine in. Of course, they put a chest catheter in. They wheeled the machine in. And dialysis at the hospital was great, to be honest with you. I mean, like I said, they wheeled the machine right to my room. My wife was there with me. It was only 2 hours. Didn't get stick by a needle. She walked me through the whole process. Got to watch TV in the bed. It was great. But then they send you home to in-center. Now, it's a little different. So at that time, I lived in Richardson. So I went to dialysis in Plano. It was a huge facility, probably like 4 or 5 bays. This is a small one, but kind of like the size of campus dialysis, if you've ever been there. A little bit bigger than campus. All these bays, all these people, all over the place. And I was just like, my eyes were wide open. The issue was I wore the wrong shirt. So at that time, I had a chest catheter. And I wore like a jersey type shirt right here. Well, the nurse was trying to get to it and bend it down and all kind of stuff. And she just said, grab some scissors, just cut my shirt in half. Next thing you know, my whole side of my chest is exposed. And I'm sitting there, I'm cold, my chest is exposed, I'm embarrassed. All these people, I'm new to dialysis, I don't know, it was scary. So the reason why I tell that story is because dialysis is a traumatic experience. It actually fits the definition of chronic trauma. Chronic trauma that happens over and over and over again, 3 days a week for 15 to 20 hours a week, maybe 10 to 12, a little bit higher. But still it's still a traumatic experience. And because dialysis is traumatic, it shows up in behavior in me, but also in other patients. And so we're going to go over 5 ways that you should see it manifest. The first one is emotional numbness, hopelessness, skipping treatment, fear and anger, and distrust. These are 5 ways trauma behavior manifests in patients. So let's go through them. The first one, seems uninterested, seems quiet, seems like real short answers. One word answer, yes, okay, I guess. Real short, numb, don't want to be there, blanket over the face, headphones in, don't talk to them. That was me after I lost my kidneys after the first transplant. In 2022 when I lost my kidneys for the second time. There was a clinic, I lived in Arlington at the time, there was a clinic that was right down the street, a 3-minute drive down the road. I picked one 20 minutes down the road because my transplant only lasted for 5 years. And so I want to go back to that same clinic and answer all the questions again. What are you doing here? What happened? And so I wanted to go as far away as possible. And then when I would show up there, I would have my iPad or my laptop in my desk, on my lap, huge blanket, big old headphones, wearing a mask so I didn't have to talk to anybody because I was working. I was a corporate recruiter at the time. And so I was trying to work, but I was trying to shut everybody out too because I was protecting myself. So silence is not disrespect, it's protection. They're just going through some things. They really they're short, seem like they're uninterested. They don't want to be there because they're trying not to feel. They're trying to protect themselves. The second one is hopelessness. They're convinced that effort doesn't matter. What's the use of trying anymore? What's the use of being compliant? What's the use of taking your medication? What's the use of listening when I'm here? What's the point? It's hopeless. Hopelessness isn't giving up, it's grief talking. Because they're grieving their old life, they're grieving the way things used to be, they're grieving me, I'm grieving going to the bathroom, standing up. Like I'm grieving like the time with my family. I'm grieving missing activities on Friday nights and because I gotta go to dialysis. And so it's grief. And so sometimes people get hopeless. I kind of got hopeless in 2011 once I realized I had to lose that much weight to get on the transplant list. It seemed like a huge mountain. By the grace of God, I got out of it, and a lot of people helped me through it, but it was a time to where I was hopeless. I didn't think there was a way out. The third one is the worst one for the clinic and the patient, skipping treatments. Skipping treatments. It might seem like they don't care about their health, or that they can care less, or they'd rather be doing something other than taking care of themselves. But skipping treatment actually gives them their power back because they decide when they show up. Because this is a powerless situation that they're in, right? But if I decide, you tell me to come 3, I pick 2, I'm in control versus you. See what I'm saying? So skipping treatment is an issue because they're trying to get their power back. But listen, behind every skipped treatment is a story, not a choice. Let me tell you a few stories. So this is a young lady that I follow on social media. I follow a lot of dialysis patients on TikTok and things like that. And so one day I sent her these 5 things and I was working on this presentation. I sent her the 5 things and I said, which one do you get affected by the most? She said, skipping treatments 100%. She says, I have irritable bowel syndrome and I have a chest catheter. And you guys understand, taking somebody off the machine with a chest catheter is a problem. It takes time. And if you really got to go, they might not get to you when you really have to go. And so you take that risk of messing on yourself. And so, but then, let's say they get you off on time, well, you go to the bathroom and come back, there's time. Now you got to stay longer on your treatment. And so who wants to keep doing that? So you say, I'd just rather just stay home. If I got a stomach problem, stuff is bumbling, I just go to stay home. Because of that, and because of her not taking care of her diabetes and bad nerve damage, she lost her leg last year. And she was a nice little young lady. Now she doesn't have a leg because of skip treatments and not taking care of her nerve damage. The second one is my primary care doctor told me this one. He said he had a young patient, young guy, and he had a baby by a baby mom that didn't understand that he couldn't spend time with his daughter because of dialysis. And so she would take custody away from him when he would miss spending time with his daughter because of dialysis. And so he would make a decision, either spend time with my daughter or go to dialysis. Either have a relationship with my daughter or go to dialysis. He chose his daughter. Because of all his mistreatment and a bad undiagnosed hernia, he passed away last year. And so behind every skip treatment is a story. And so I'm hoping that way you guys learn a connection so that way you can get these stories and understand what's really going on behind closed doors. The next one, anger. Now, before I go any further, if you guys feel unsafe, if it's a patient is threatening you, if a patient is making you feel some kind of way, you don't have to deal with it. Always take that up to upper management. Always talk to somebody. Hey, he just said something crazy and I don't feel like I need to be working with him anymore. I don't feel like I can give him adequate care because I'm upset. Share with somebody, because some patients, sometimes they get a little irritated and they say things they probably shouldn't. So that being said, I always let upper management know. But also think about this, anger is a secondary emotion. It's like the iceberg, you know what I'm saying? The iceberg. There's always a reason why somebody's acting the way they're acting. There's always layers underneath it, especially in dialysis. There's always layers underneath. And always remember, anger is pain that's lost as words. Some people just don't know how to express themselves other than just being angry. And the last one, distrust. Now, I'm sure you guys don't mind questions. You don't mind when they ask you questions. But there's a difference between if they don't trust you and they're being suspicious and they have that kind of like cockeyed look that they don't trust what you're doing. It's a difference. It's a difference. So distrust isn't defiance, it's survival. Some people are just guarded. Some people won't let you in because they've been hurt so much, or this whole experience makes me not want to trust medical professionals. I don't know what it is, but like sometimes, like, sorry about my family, my race, even my wife's race, Hispanics, they don't trust medical professionals. And so one day I had an honest conversation with a guy that I was counseling. I'm like, look, man, you take your car to the mechanic because he's a professional. So are they. Go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people just don't understand why that's important. I want to tell you a quick story. Remember, I started off this presentation that said there was a guy, a doctor, that gave 3 words to me that changed everything about who I am. So in 2018, I had weight loss surgery. Surgery went okay, but the issue is when they did the test to see if everything was okay, they give me some kind of solution to drink, right? And then you go in this lab and then they put these x-ray cameras and they watch it go down. Well, the problem was when I drank it, it went down this way, but it made a left turn this way, which means there's a leak. And so next day I was in the OR, they put a metal stent down my esophagus, and that's when things got 400% worse. I had the worst heartburn I've ever had in my whole life. I couldn't drink water. Water burned going down. Everything burned going down. I lost 50 pounds in 2 weeks because I wasn't eating or drinking. I was constantly spitting up. I was miserable. I was cold. It was the most miserable experience I've ever had in my whole life. And so finally got fed up, called my primary care doctor, because me and him on a first name basis, I can call him anytime. I should have called him sooner. But anyway, I called him up and I told him what's going on, and I told him how long it's been, and he said, man, the reason why it's been 2 weeks is because that surgeon messed up that procedure, he dragging his feet because Medicare don't pay for mistakes. And so he dragging his feet. So call him and tell him exactly what I tell you to say. And so I called him and I told him what my doctor said, and I was in the OR the next day. The day after they fixed it, the nephrologist comes in because my kidney numbers got affected. My GFR level was going up because my creatine was going up because I wasn't drinking, I wasn't eating. So my numbers were getting out of whack. And so he came to check on me. But what he did was he came in the room. He was a tall, old guy, but he came in the room. He walked up to me. He put his hand on top of my hand, looked me right in the eye and said, I am sorry. I am sorry you had to go through that. And that right there changed everything. I still sometimes think about it and get emotional about it because I finally felt seen. I finally felt like somebody felt my pain. He didn't really do anything magical. He didn't write a prescription. He didn't open up a book and do a procedure or hook me up to another machine. He just said, I'm sorry. It wasn't even his fault. He didn't even do it. He's a nephrologist, not the surgeon. But because he said, I'm sorry, and like he stood in the gap for everybody in the medical profession. And that made me feel like a human. And that, to me, that's what started me on my journey to heal. That's what started me on my journey to do this lesson, to do all these things, to share the language. Words really do help people. So let me ask you a quick question. You guys are medical professionals. Have you ever gave somebody medical advice and they were like, I'll think about it? Does it ever happen to you?
All the time.
Yeah, you guys do this for a living. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sure it happens all the time. Well, let me tell you a story. One time, my wife came home from work. She used to work at Target. And she was telling me a story about something that happened with her and her bosses and her coworkers. And I'm listening to my wife and I'm thinking, my wife is wrong right now. Oh my God, I cannot believe my wife is acting like that at work. Now, I've been in management a long time. I've managed every company I've been except for this one here now. I've been in management. I've always been a leader of people. And so I know a thing or two about leadership and conflict resolution and stuff like that. And when I'm listening to her, I'm like, I would fire my wife right now. Like what she's saying, I can't believe it. And so I get in my head the great idea, I'm going to correct my wife. Y'all know where this is going. I've cooked up this great answer, man. If this answer would have been recorded, it probably would have went viral. And when she got done, I dropped this answer on her, and I'm just like, yeah, she's gonna come back and hug me, and like, it was the best answer in the world. Her face turned bright red, and a tear rolls down her eye. And she says, I just wish somebody just took my side for once. Yeah, I blew it. So the issue wasn't with what I said, because what I said was 100% correct. It's the order of the information. It's the order of the information. You guys have spouses, you know, we're supposed to just listen, not fix. We're supposed to just listen. We're supposed to just listen, right? And so that's connection. And so a lot of times what we're doing is we're giving advice to people. We're giving them connection. We're trying to give them correction. We're trying to help them out, but they're not receiving it because the order is wrong. And so let me give you a 3-step strategy, and I have a take-home book for you guys to practice this at home with, right? It's called Connect, Reflect, Guide. You guys are the first ones to get this, and so I'm super excited about it. Connect, reflect, guide. Connect first, reflect the feeling, and then guide them to a solution. Connect with the individual first. Let them know you hear them. Let them know that they're seen. Reflect back the emotion that you hear, and then guide them to where they need to go to. You don't push them, you guide, you walk with them. So let's break this down. Step 1, connect. Sounds like, looks like. Sounds like, looks like. Let's say you guys are dealing with a patient and he's upset because he left his AirPods at home. And now he can't play on his phone or watch TikTok videos. Visibly upset. The natural response is, man, we got some headphones here. Put these on, man. Put the TV. You want the TV? That's the correct way. But what about, man, it sounds like you really want your AirPods. Looks like you're frustrated that you don't have your AirPods. Now I'm using that example. We're going to get into some deeper ones. But what you're doing, you're just acknowledging what you see first. So connect, sounds like, looks like. Sounds like, looks like. Sounds like, looks like. That's how you start the phrase. Looks like you're having a hard time. Looks like you're frustrated. Looks like you're having difficulties. If I feel like you're having a hard time right now. Reflect back the emotion. Because if somebody visibly upset because they don't have AirPods, and that's a problem. That's a third world problem, but that's a problem, right? And so, hey, it looks like you really like having your AirPods. Sounds like you're struggling. Looks like you really like to have your AirPods. You're connecting the emotion. And what most of the time happens, you see the shoulders drop. Yeah, I do like having my AirPods. And so you connect first, reflect, and then you guide. Then you say, well, we do have a TV here. If you don't mind, I'll go get you some black headphones. I don't know if y'all have those black headphones here. Let me get you some black headphones. You can hook it up here. It's not Netflix or Prime like you have on your phone, but at least you can watch something here for 4 hours to keep you entertained. So that's how that goes. Connect, reflect, guide. Because what the issue was, like the story I told with my wife, I tried to correct first and I hit a brick wall. And that's what's happening most of the time. You're giving correct information. What you're saying is 100% correct. But because there's no connection there, it's going to a brick wall. And that's why some of the patients are not responding. That's why some of the patients are not gelling with you, because you're not connecting with them. They're not feeling it. So that's why it's always good to connect, reflect, guide, because what happens here, if you The problem is the brain. The brain, have y'all heard of the upstairs brain and downstairs brain? Okay, the upstairs brain is a friendly brain, right? But the downstairs brain is a fight or flight. So let's say clown pops his head right here in this window. Sorry, I watch a lot of scary movies. All of us will be out of this door, right? Because we don't want to get chopped up by the clown. Well, that's what happens, fight or flight. And so when your patients are there and they're not connecting, they're in a fight or flight brain. And so if you're trying to correct them before connecting, you're getting ready for a collision. In my mind, I'm a football guy. And so my brain, sometimes if I'm not connected with you, I'm playing defense. I'm not letting you in. So what's happening is your patients are playing defense in their head. They're not letting you in. The defensive line is not letting nobody through, right? So that's why connecting first before correcting always leads to a different result versus trying to correct them without the connection. So again, if you walk up to a patient correcting before connecting, the brain gets ready for a collision. I want to tell you a story, then I'm done. So I want to tell you a story about a chicken man. Now, I follow this guy. He's Les Brown. He's a motivational speaker. Love the way he talks. He does some good stuff. He tells a story about a chicken man. So he used to work, Les Brown used to work in downtown with a bunch of his friends. He used to be in city council, I guess. And so one day, all of his friends, once a week, they would go look for this guy named the Chicken Man, because this guy legit would drive around the city with an old beat up car with a chicken as a hood ornament, with a stroller with chickens in the stroller. But also, he would also put a chicken on his head. And anytime you would ask this guy a question, he would talk like a chicken. And so once a week, these guys, when they got bored, they would find the Chicken Man and just entertain themselves. Because, I mean, it would be kind of entertaining. The guy talks like a chicken, had chickens in the thing. So one day they were in the office and they were looking through the city records. And the clerk came and says, "Oh my gosh, I found the story about that guy y'all make fun of, the Chicken Man." And so they said, "Well, let's read it." So they open up the story and it reads like this. The Chicken Man lived in a neighborhood and had a family. But he lived in a house. One day late at night, the house caught on fire. The guy tries to get out of the house. He barely makes it out, but not with his two daughters and his wife. He tried to go back in and save them. He tried to go back in and get them, but the flames are too high. He couldn't get in the house, so he lost his two daughters and he lost his wife all at the same time. When the brother-in-law gets there, the brother-in-law of the deceased wife and the two daughters, he jumps on the guy, throws him to the ground, beats him in the face and says, you chicken, how come you didn't run in and get my sister and my nieces, you chicken?" And from that point on, that guy walked around dressed like a chicken and act like a chicken because of what that guy told him. And so that's on the opposite side of words having a problem. Whoever said sticks and stones breaks my bone, but words never hurt me needs to be punched right in the face. It's the biggest lie it's one of the hugest lies ever in the whole world. Words hurt. Words stick with people. So if words can have an effect like that on somebody, words can have a positive effect on somebody. And so I told you that story for that reason. Number one, we never know what people are going through. We never know like what you're dealing with on the floor. You never know why people act the way they do. There's always a story behind it. We just have to connect enough to get that story. And the second thing is words really do have an impact because you guys spend more time with anybody in the medical profession than out there. You guys spend 10 to 12 hours with them a day. So you guys have the opportunity to really make a huge difference. You guys have an opportunity to really like change lives. You guys really have an opportunity to really make an impact. Now, I already know you guys have great relationship with some of the patients. I already know that. You see them every day. You see them. I know you guys know them by first name basis. But the challenge is the one that frustrates you, because the one that frustrates you the most needs you the most. The one that frustrates you the most needs a connection the most. And so I'm hoping that this CRG strategy will help that connection, because there's probably a wall there. There's probably a disconnect. There's probably something going on that they're not letting you in on. There's probably a reason why. Either they're standoffish and they're not talking to you. And so use that CRG strategy. not saying it's going to be foolproof, but you're going to get more of an opportunity to make a connection with somebody that's difficult versus just, they're just difficult. That's just who they are. And just letting people just, I'm going to let them make it. I'm not going to try to change them. But you guys have the power to really make a difference because of the time that you guys spend.